Patrick Townley at ptlarts.com. Another more improved version of my introduction to my arts practice. Another look at the beginning of my arts practice, the power of how. So I've kind of sketched back to where I began and had another look at it with everything that I've been learning over the last few months. And I realised that looking back what I've said before, I can say it in a much more comprehensive way. And I'm sure this will become more comprehensive as time goes on. The power of how, another look at the beginning of my arts practice. Have you had it when you want to do something, but don't begin because you don't know how? Maybe the knowledge seems unattainable or the task too demanding. 4 years ago, I started to paint with oils. The arrival at this point was instinctive and wasn't something I had even thought about doing in the past particularly. My wonderful wife has always made art and my creative tending towards performance and music and poetry, writing stuff, which I do in between work because I never really imagined that I'd be able to do it more than just fitting in between everything else. Know the feeling? Painting became more than a hobby as I started to sell my paintings. A great way to start making art is to follow your feelings. So when walking around my local neighbourhood, the idea of making art from what was on the street came to mind. Often old paintings were discarded in the street. The notion of building my own materials to paint on appealed greatly. This can be a great way to begin. What do you have in front of you? The magic of making artwork is that you theoretically can make anything. As I started to use oils, research led me to begin my own art history journey. For example, it was Titian that made canvas famous as a substrate. And from around about 1500, it came into common use. I was drawn to painting on plywood to begin with. After buying some ready-made canvases and painting on them, immediately the need for me to be involved with the preparation of what I paint on became important. So I wasn't really satisfied with just buying something that had been made up that I didn't really know about. This was not a result of an intellectual process. My heart still is taking the lead as I develop an online arts practice. Interesting, as it was a heart attack that began this process of drawing and painting in the first place. From doing things, I learn. How do you learn best? Is it easier for you to follow a textbook or a practical approach? It's hard to know when you're a child, isn't it? There seems to be a lot of pressure to fit into an education system as if it is the proper way to learn. So for me as a child, I wanted to do things the way you were meant to do them. So I developed from a very young age a real belief into the system that I was being educated in, and consequently when I didn't do famously well, I just felt I wasn't good enough. The difficulty in providing a broad approach in education cannot be underestimated. Surely the need for creative learning should be at the forefront of children's education. It seems the case that creative arts is considered to be of secondary importance. Is this because its output cannot really be measured? In financial terms, anyway. The art of painting is one of finding out through making marks and moving colour how to translate a relationship in front of you into a piece of meaningful work. Anyway, this is my interpretation. And of course, it's open to lots of debate. Perhaps it's just a dilemma. Is business moving away from productivity and increasingly demanding an open, creative approach? I think so. Consequently, isn't the case for educating the young people so their minds are open to change and flexibility so important for the stability of the increasingly fragile economic growth model, which is another debate in itself. I'm always doing that which I cannot do in order that I may learn how to do it. Pablo Picasso. The truth is that as I continue to follow my heart and not my head, every area of my life is improving. The discipline of making paintings sharpens my senses and helps me identify what is special and beautiful in the world around me. This in turn impacts on my deeper understanding and relationship with my own body and sensibilities. Consequently, my diet and general wellness has significantly improved. I've been able to make decisions about my health and also noticing a reprogramming of entrenched habits that erode my confidence. The journey doesn't, of course, stop there. It is now my responsibility to share and offer to help others commence on a similar change in lifestyle through developing a sustainable creative arts practice. So there's my new revised That's Where I Am, and that's what's motivating me to actually be talking online. Is I think it's crucial for humanity really that creative arts and creating is supported and encouraged at any time in your life. So thank you very much. If you like what I'm saying, thumbs up. If you don't, if you've got thoughts and comments, please put it below. It'd be great to hear from you, and I'd love to open up a discussion. Thank you very much. And you can find me on ptlarts.com.